Now, I don't know when was the last time a foreign minister of India met students of Delhi University to talk about foreign policy. It didn't happen when I was in the university. That much I can tell you. So what has brought me here? What has changed? I think the world has changed. India certainly has changed. But I think all of you have also changed. That your understanding of the world, your connection with the world, the impact that you will and are making on the world and the world is making on you, I think all of that has changed. Now, I am to speak to you about the G20 presidency and its global impact, which I will. But before I do that, I want to share with you a few experiences that I've had, you can say, on the road as a traveling minister of this government. And I'll start with the most recent one. We were at the BRICS summit in South Africa last week. We were physically there, but we were mentally in Bengaluru. We were mentally in Bengaluru because all the while the thoughts in Prime Minister's mind, in ours as well, was Chandrayaan. So, and you know, it was visible. It would keep coming up in the meetings, it would come up in the conversations. Others brought it up. Our host, South African president, actually publicly expressed good wishes for our success. And in between the conference, we took a break because we all wanted to see the actual landing. And that evening, this was a BRICS conference, okay? This was a BRICS summit. So this is India, Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa. There were about maybe another 50 countries, maybe 70 countries who were invited, about 45, 50 of them were at the President, Prime Minister level. But that evening, there was only one topic of conversation. That topic of conversation was the Chandrayaan landing. And the most, to me, I mean, one was, you know, it's like you feel you are on a big stage, something big has happened in your country, you're already like little bit walking a little bit taller and higher. But the greatest satisfaction for me that day was this sense from all the leaders that India has done it, but we, you know, the leaders of Africa, of Latin America, of Asia, we also see this as something as motivating, as you know, it is your success, but we also feel somewhere it is our success. We share it, we are happy. It's like a family member doing something very well. Now, I start with this experience because especially the young people of India have to understand that everything you are doing, will do, your dreams, your aspirations, your achievements, they are no longer going to be contained within the borders of India. That we are already through, you know, Vice Chancellor spoke today of India as almost a $3.8 trillion economy. But it is not just the statistics. It's not the prosperity. It is the sense that day in the room, and you know, some of the presidents said this because actually this was a big hall, you know, the long table, there were 150 people there. And actually they all stood up and Prime Minister had to walk down the row shaking hands with people. But the one message was, you know, what you have done is also inspiring the rest of the world. So that is the first experience I want to share with you. The second experience actually emanates with COVID. I have shared already in public many stories about the COVID. Some of you may have seen it in some reel somewhere. I think you would be familiar, for example, that experience I recounted, that my COVID certificate was on my phone. And in America, my son was pulling out something from his wallet, one parchi folded up saying, "Acha, this is mine." But I'll tell you a different story. Last year, every year the world gathers in New York for the UN General Assembly. Almost all countries of the world come, the leaders come, the ministers come, prime ministers, presidents. Normally, we go around asking people, I'm from India, so we say, okay, we want to meet our counterparts. Last year, a number of my colleagues, foreign ministers of other countries, counterparts, they actually said, we would like to do an event with you. We would like to do that event because we are the countries who received the COVID vaccine. So we want an opportunity. We want an opportunity to actually express our thanks. Now, they spoke, and they all spoke from their heart. Now, and for me, the most moving sentence was actually, I think it was my colleague from Jamaica, who said, "I carry vaccine Maitri inside me." So the impact we had through COVID, because all of them said, the message was, look, we are the foreign ministers of Africa, of Caribbean, of Latin America, of South Pacific. We know there were stockpiles of vaccine close to us produced by other countries. We did not get it from them. We got it from you. And you were far away. So the first point I made to you was the impact that our success will have on the world. The second point I make to you is how we are today, the generosity of India. When you say that in G20, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, when we say one earth, one family, one future, the world believes us. They do not think this is an empty slogan made for a conference. They actually have seen in the behavior of India in the most difficult times, when there were countries who had stockpiled 5-6 times the number of people, they had stockpiled that many doses of vaccines. They would not give it to a small neighbor next to them. And people saw that there was a different country, one which was vaccinating its own people, and while it was vaccinating its own people, was ready to share with the rest of the world. That's my second story. I'll give you one more, and then I will come to the G20. Last year, end of last year, I had gone to abroad, to the Middle East, to West Asia, to invite a president of a country to visit India. So I was carrying a letter from Prime Minister Modi. And, normally foreign minister meets the president, somebody says, "Acha, you have 15 minutes, 20 minutes, please, ज़्यादा time नहीं लीजिए, next appointment is on the way." So they give you a slot. I'm a time conscious guy. I gave my invitation, gave Prime Minister Modi's regards. We did about 10 minutes of polite talking. Then that president actually said, "I have some things I want to ask you." He said, "I hear in India that you are today able to reach very large sections of your population because of your digital capability.